Yeah.
Yay, we're recording.
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So, welcome guys. This is call on fear, the distraction plan of fear, and how basically we have no agenda today. It's just that Renu and I were having a conversation, and we're about to start the distractor implant, a book read, and hearing calls very soon on the 15th to be precise. And we were having a conversation in the morning about what's really going on. Renu, would you like to tell us? And that's my friend Renu. She
Hello.
is an amazing facilitator herself. And the conversation we were having in the morning was about somebody who passed away, and the fear that's attached to now people not even being able to go and attend funerals, not even being able to, let alone a funeral. Like, people are not even willing to get out of their houses to go to the family who's lost a loved one. So, what is that, and what's really going on? How much are we buying into this thing of, yeah, agreed. There's stuff that's outside. There's a virus, and there's things that we got to be aware of. But how much of that is real? How much of that is just something that we've conceived in our heads? And after you have, if you guys have been on Dr. Dain's 14 Days of Happiness, he's been talking a lot about all of these energies of fear. And when Reno and I were having this conversation, like, I had this conversation with my brother who's in this US, in New York in particular, and he was telling me how difficult it is there with so many people dying and relatives not being able to go and see their loved ones even in the last moments of death, with bodies being hauled and taken away. So the virus definitely is there. It is something which is a serious problem. But I mean, where do you draw the line? Renu, would you like to talk on what the conversation we were having this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to shed it off and pock and pod a lot of stuff, but that energy of that weirdness is still with me. I remember walking into like driving into the lane, and there's lanes behind my house, and it was like, I thought there'd be cars or there'd be somebody outside for me to know which house it was, but it was like, death has had sort of visited the whole lane. There was nobody around. Even the birds were silent. These days the birds are chirping everywhere.
Yeah,
And I felt really awful. This lady was just sitting alone with the dead body, and there was just nobody. And they have so many loved ones in the city. Of course, the children are outside, but the fact that she kept me at an arm's length. Imagine you can't hug someone. It was really. And though I know what, like Shweta was just talking about the seriousness of the virus, and those who are losing their loved ones, and those who are seeing, bodies and people dying every day, it's a big thing, But what I was just, wondering today was that where has it brought us? There's so
yeah,
much in the air, though the sky is clearer, the air, the what we are breathing in is purer, but there is something unsaid hanging in the air, and
yeah.
that's what really was troubling me today. And of course, it's much better because I just returned to sender whatever I picked up from the air, from the surroundings. But yeah, what is this that we are dealing with?
So yeah, if any of you would like to talk about something like that that's going on, because this is something that was there in my universe also. And when today I had this conversation with Renu, where she said, like, last time there was another death. Remember that you said that, oh, it was like about a week ago, and you decided not to go
Yeah,
because of,
because the lady who I knew was the only one,
right,
and here the couple were both my friends.
yeah.
And the one who's left behind to mourn, I really, my heart was reaching out to her. In the other case, I didn't feel like going because I didn't know the family very well. I would have just gone, to show my face. Here I wanted to just go see her, be with her, for even if it was for just a few minutes.
Right. So what is it that we make fear so real? Like, you did go, you maintained social distance, and you went, and you were there for those people. So what we wanted to have a conversation today is with this distractor implant thing that Dain also spoke about. Is there's so many distractor implants, like there's a whole list of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, guilt, obsessive compulsive points of view, perverted points of views, then love, sex, jealousy, peace, then there is fear, doubt, business, relationship, and life, living, death, reality. All of these are the 6 sets of distractor implants. And it's actually recommended that anything that you feel stuck with, anything that's not changing, anything that doesn't feel real to you, you just go poke and pot on the distractant plan. So the conversation that we wanted to have with you guys today is, how much have we made fear real in our lives? How much are we buying into the fear that's outside right now as ours, as real? And it does not mean that you stop your awareness, but it's actually, we tend to buy into fear and believe that that's something that's going to protect us, because that's a survival instinct. That is something that is implanted in us so that we don't die, right? You're scared to, like, the moment you come close to a cliff, you're scared, you don't want to. The moment you come close to a burning fire, you don't have to put your finger inside it, right? Because it's been designed so that you can basically protect yourself. But in this whole event of trying to protect ourselves, how much have we made fear the basis of our existence, the basis of survival? But are we looking at survival? Are we basically trusting our own instincts, our own awarenesses? Or are we just buying into whatever's happening around us is real? We're not even stopping to ask which part of this is real, which part of this is not. Um, it's just this energy of, like how Renu was just talking about, fear being in the air, like this pandemic, that, hey, you got to be scared. Hey, you got to have a mask. Yeah, you got to have a mask, but you don't have to do that out of fear. You can do that out of awareness. So, does anyone have a question on this? Is there anything that's going on in your universe that makes you feel scared? And it's not only about what's going outside right now. It's also like, I like to talk about those little fears that exist in our heads with regards to our business right now, with the situation outside, with regards to our relationships, with regards to our money situation, with regards to our bodies, with regards to, and then you have this, a larger concentric thing, which is, okay, right outside of that, and right outside of that, and right outside of that, and then finally the big pandemic outside there. So there are all these levels of fear that we have that have been implanted in us. Now, what would be different if we didn't buy into fear as real? If we started to actually look at, hey, who are we buying it from? Who does it belong to? And what else is possible here? And the funny thing is that till you pock and pod these implants, you can't even get to question.
Yeah, because like you just said, that the mind has been given to us to make our lives easier. You know,
Yeah,
what has happened is that the mind has started controlling us now.
yeah,
And like you said just now, that you pock and pod and then arrive at the question. But
yeah,
if you're not there at that moment, you forget. And like you said about the concentric circles, it just keeps spiraling you down into the abyss of something that you don't even know.
yeah,
And how we function from the now creates our future. So like you just were talking about business and health and loved ones, and what is happening around us. If everybody is going to function from these concentric circles and keep spiraling down into the abyss of fear or doubt or
yeah,
whatever, where are we going to be able to create the future that we are looking at? We are going to create the future from the present. And if our present is so damned, what is the future going to be like?
absolutely. So, basically, this whole conversation about creating a future is just so exciting for me because every time, like, yes, I mean, even I sense that there's this thing of, money is not in free flow as much as it was earlier. People getting desperate, people trying to um, get whatever they can. Like, even Gary was talking about recently in one of his calls, like people trying to sell away stocks because it's like, people's trying to sell away real estate because it's, that the whole energy of fear is so much that, oh, there's going to be lack very soon, there is going to be something ending, as if there's the energy of something ending, like, oh, the new economic depression is starting, or it has already started, and we don't know how it's going to be. And this energy of I don't know how it's going to be, there's no curiosity there, there's no energy of yeah, with all of these things changing, like the planet finally being able to breathe, the birds chirping more, the grass going greener. Because today me and the kids went out for a little walk just around the house, and there are no people there obviously, and the gardens are locked. The grass has started to grow. It's greener, it's cleaner. So all of those things are there. But instead of looking at what this is creating, we're going into the fear of what it's not going to create. And like you were just saying, Renu, that is there still a volume problem, guys? Can you not hear us?
I want everybody's videos to be on. I want to
Yeah,
see
what would it take for you guys? What are you scared of, guys? I wonder what is the fear of turning on the
only in the air. It's not coming in through technology.
Yeah, let's just destroy and uncreate the distraction plans of fear. So all of the distraction plans of fear, guys, this is the way to do it. What if you destroy and uncreate all the fear and doubt and all the other distraction plans related to it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, online shorts, boys and beyonds. Hey, oh, Suchika, hi. Come on, how nice.
Good to see you guys.
So what? Amazing. How we get so lucky for all of you to be here? Turn on your cameras. Come on.
Thank you, Radna.
So yeah, so what is it? What is it that? What's the value of holding on to fear as real? Like, what does that create for you? Is it really creating the future? Like Renu was having this. We just started this conversation on creating a different future. Why not go into a curiosity and ask, hey, what kind of a future is this creating? What kind of a future would I like to create? And if I was not buying into this fear as real, if I was not buying into this economic depression as real, like how much money could I make? But if you've already bought into the lie that this is real, ye to gadbad ho rahi hai, ya, this is going to go bad, you already have a judgment in place. The fear is already controlling you. And that's the not so great part of fear.
Sorry.
Now go on, Renu.
And I love what you said about curiosity,
Yeah,
And what if we could function from the wonder, Like, I wonder what will happen.
yeah,
I wonder what will happen to the economy, or I wonder what will happen to the birds that are chirping, and I wonder whether it will stay like that or not. So, for me, you're right about the curiosity bit. So, but when we are looking at the curiosity bit, what if we could just function from, I know it's the energy of the death and the energy of fear and the virus and economy. It is looming large on everybody's heads. But what if today, what if now, in this present moment, just the few of us that are together here could look at it with a wonder? Because there are so many things happening in the world that none of us ever expected would ever happen. The
yeah. No,
world,
it's going to be like a world lockdown. Right?
I mean, in the history of mankind, we haven't seen something like this, you know? So I
Yeah,
wonder why this was created. I wonder what it is going to create for us in the future, you know?
yeah. The creation of future is like a whole new level of conversation, which you're not having. So, what would it take for you to have the conversation of future, guys?
Yeah, like today I was talking to someone and she says, when everything goes back to normal. And I was trying to tell her, honey, it's never going back to the normal that youth lived before this. It
Yeah,
is definitely going to be different. How are we gearing up to cope with that?
yeah. Yeah, but that's the tricky part with fear. It's like it's designed so that you buy into it. It's designed in a way that you make it real because that's the way they can control you. Fear can control you, right? It'll never allow you to see what's underneath that. It's never allow you to see what's beyond that. And that's where we got to go if we really want to be different, if we being the humanoids that we be, if we really want to create a different future, if we really want to create a different reality, then we are the ones who got to pock and pot it. Like really, Gary says that you can't do anything else with an implant. Like you can't reason with it, you can't logicalize it, you can't figure it out. You have to destroy and uncreate it. So you go, okay, all the distractor implants of fear, doubt, and everything else connected to this, destroy and uncreate, and everything underneath that, because there are these layers and layers of things, the Mobius strips, the Shikyu implant, the secret, hidden, invisible, covert, unseen, undisclosed, unacknowledged implants and explants which hold it together, and then finally the quantum particulates that hold it together so that you can't just easily let it go. I think it's taken trillions and trillions of years to design it. And it's amazing they've done a good job. Like you can't really just get rid of it.
Somebody who believes in it has solidified it, so it's become so solid that it's not at the space where it can melt and be mutated or changed or whatever.
So,
And the
so
best part about pocking and podding is that you not only can pock and pod your distractor implant, but when you see someone else functioning from one, you could also pock and pod that. That's
oh yeah,
amazing. That's so beautiful. Like if I see my maid functioning from a fear, angle or somebody else, I can just okay, everything I sense over here, all the fear I sense hanging in the air, I pock and pod.
yeah. That's wonderful. So that's something you guys can do. You don't have to even, and there's this amazing thing that even if you sense that there is an awareness that you have and it feels like it's yours, what if you didn't have to resist it? What if you didn't have to react to it? What if you didn't have to say, "Main to nahi darta," yeah, oh, ye to mera. How we say, even when we're using the tool, so many times we go into a point of view first and then try to be interesting point of view with, or then try to destroy and uncreate it. What if we could actually look at it and say, hey, do I really have to buy it as mine? Okay, it is there. Am I just aware? Okay, cool, I'm aware. I don't have to make it mine. I don't have to say I'm scared. The moment I've said I'm scared, or you've already gone, and then you go, is it really mine? Then you've gone into doubt. You know, so many times we're using the tools to basically uh, twist our awareness. So what if just being interesting point of view with, oh cool, I sense fear rather than I have fear or I am scared or I sense fear. And now what do I do with it? Right? Okay, cool, I can pop and pot it. And how many of us are using it as, something to stimulate us, something to we go into fear, then we go into doubt, then we go into
Our entire media is doing it at the moment. You switch on any channel and it's talking about nothing but what worse could happen, you
yeah.
know.
But where's the question of, hey, how does it get any better than this? And what are we receiving from this that we haven't acknowledged? So what if you guys started asking the question of, hey, what are we receiving from this that we haven't acknowledged instead of buying it as real? And that's the beauty of not buying into the distraction implants as real, as significant, as something that you've got to react to.
So I suddenly something has come up for me. I was reading something today about anger,
Mhm.
and there's somebody was sharing that even though the child grew up with anger, because there was anger in the air, there was anger all over, even if it was not directed at that person or at that child, you imbibe it, you get it sort of gets implanted in your head, so the same with fear. How much has it been imbibed in our head? Don't talk to strangers, don't go out alone.
Yeah.
We've heard that all our lives. My father would take out the car if it was 7:10 and I hadn't come home, you know and I think we all grew up with this. So yes, like you were just saying, what if we could ask questions here? Because unless and until we ask questions, we are not going to be able to even address the distractive plant.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the conversations that we wanted to get to, and there's so many different levels to it, and that's why we said we were going to be reading the book, the Living Beyond Distraction book, which is about all these 6 sets of distraction plans. We're going to be meeting Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Around the same time that we started the call today. These are not going to be very long calls, but yes, what Renu and I were looking at is, what if it was not just about a book read? What if it was about an awareness of where we are buying into these is real? Where, because there is so much awareness of how these distractant plans control us, whether it is anger, rage, fury, hate, and from or fear, doubt, business and relationship also kind of tie into fear and doubt very conveniently. And then it's like you keep jumping from one to the other, but in the whole thing, where is the space for creation of a new reality? Where is the space for asking, hey, what gift am I? Because this is what the distractor implant is doing. It's stopping you from looking at the gift that you truly be. How many of you guys actually believe that you're a gift? How many of you believe that you are a contribution to the future? Honestly, how many of you trust that? Yeah, I know you do, Sachika. Yeah, but how many? And guys, if you can like just say me, me, me here, that works too, or turn on your camera and say I. But What would it take for you to actually start to look at, hey, each choice that I'm making
There's
is
one gift unwrapped for us.
is sorry, what?
I said another gift unwrapped for us.
Yeah.
She decided to switch on her
Yeah,
video.
thank you. Hi. We can't see your name, so we don't know what to call you.
iPhone. iPhone.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sadhna.
Hi, Sadhna.
Hi.
So, yeah, do you really believe that you're a gift to the contribution of what we are creating as a different future for the planet?
Before that, you asked the other, when you touched upon the other subject about the business, you know, I mean, the relationship between business and fear. I think that's also another very important part of this fear psychosis or whatever right now, because like I work with the travel trade, and especially in the travel trade, everybody is extremely fearful because it's completely stopped, and we are not expecting that for the next 6 months there would be much happening.
Yeah.
So people are worried about losing their jobs. I mean, maybe initially not getting paid, then obviously the company is not making money for 6 8 months.
Yeah,
They obviously will need to either shut down or downsize or whatever. So that's another thing which is really making some professions, for example the travel trade, extremely worried. And I think that stuff like this is also a very big contribution to, I mean,
absolutely.
women, like I personally don't fear the virus per se, but yes, I fear what's going to happen, say 8 months or a year from now, whatever, if things don't improve much
Absolutely.
in
So
that.
what so when something like this crops up in your world, what do you do?
So, considering right now we have the time to be home and all of that, so I'm doing all the meditation and some clearing and all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to be, okay, right now there's lockdown, so you're in a different frame of mind. But I think, yeah, then I think my reliance on and my sort of affirmations will go up much more. I I will have to make I mean, I think your inner strength needs to come out in these things, because external factors are not going to help you. I think
Okay,
we all will, and I think that is also the biggest gift that we are getting, that we are becoming stronger from within.
absolutely, we are. And that's because you have immense trust in yourself. And how many
Yes, yes,
Right.
I
how,
do.
how many people do you know who have immense trust in themselves that come what may, I am going to get through this and this is going to turn into something greater? And if we started to operate from that point of view rather than so even in the conversation that you were having, there are a lot of things that you said which are about immense trust about yourself, but there are also so many things that we buy into as real, like stuff like you said something like, oh, 6 months down the line the company is not going to be making any money. Now you got to be aware whether that's an awareness that you're talking from or is it a judgment that you're speaking from, because even
Becomes
if you
like a conclusion then.
yeah, even if one more person buys into that is real and true, how much more are you solidifying it? The way Renu was saying, you're solidifying it more and more. So instead of buying into any of that is real, what if we started to ask questions? And there's this amazing tool in Access which is about changing tracks. Did you know that we could do the number 13 is about changing tracks? So if you started to change tracks with your business, with your money situation, with your relationships, agreed, there's a lot of stuff changing. And when there is a transition, a lot of people lose money, with a lot of people who make a lot of money too. So which
Mhm.
one are you going to be? What is, and that's a choice. But if we buy
Mhm.
into, hey, then again, there are a lot of connotations to that, a lot of angles to that. Would you like to say something?
I was just, listening to I think some call in the morning, and they were talking about the world stocks and all have gone down, and I think the market has lost about trillions of money. And yes, there are people who are going to, lose. we are some, they're going, some, like Shweta was saying, some are going to be winners and some are going to be losers. But like you were saying, we were talking about, the faith and the trust that you have in yourself. Also, what would it take for us to believe that, when I have my back, the universe has my back? So if you look back at your life, where is it that you've ever, been in trouble and something hasn't happened to help you through that? You haven't
No.
created something
Hmm.
that has taken you forward. So why do we believe that in this situation also we can't create something that will take us forward?
No, no, I'm sure we can. It's just that at times
Yeah, I know.
it
It's,
takes time to
you
realize your inner strength, or
yeah, and
the
like,
fact that there are tools to help us or
like,
whatever.
yeah,
We just assume the worst, which is not good.
yeah, so that is where we get stuck in the fear.
But thank
And
you. Your what you just said contributed so much to the conversation. And it wasn't like we were pointing out what you were saying. It's just that we were using the conversation to take the call forward so that each one of us can look at
Yeah,
where we are coming from, a space of judgment or conclusion rather than a space of question, choice, possibility, and contribution.
yeah, the fact
yeah.
that the universe has a back, it just came to me because of your sharing, like what you just said. It was so beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Oh,
Thank you.
it reminds me of times when I've been, through situations which just seemed hopeless at a certain time, but
yeah,
the other worked out at that moment. And I think it's because of what I created for myself, that I have my back. The universe has my back.
yeah. That's true. If Yeah, you have to have faith.
Yeah. So what if you had immense
Mm.
trust in yourself, guys? As this is something that we would like you to play with. Is like, what if you had the kind of trust in yourself that, and the knowing that you're smarter than you think that you are, then you're way more intelligent than you think you are, and maybe now's the time to actually pay attention because when it seems like time has stopped. By the way, time is a human construct. If it seems like time stands still now, what if this is the time that it's actually stuff is being created that if we ask questions about would actually start to reveal to us the miracles and possibilities and magic and wonder that we haven't really been like we really haven't been taking the time off or paying attention to till now. Now that we have the kind of time that we have at our hands, what if this is the creation of a new reality, a new future? And if we started to operate from the question of, okay, what new futures are being created here that I haven't acknowledged? What new reality is now possible? Like they talk about the reality of possibilities and access, and what new reality of possibilities are now available if I did not buy into this fear is real, if I did not buy into. And again, when I say don't buy into the fear is real, I'm not saying cut off your awareness, like don't just go out in a like a social gathering. No, don't do that. But trust your awareness, like the conversation at the beginning of the call that we were having. Hey, somebody died, and if I get that my being there is going to be a contribution more than this fear that I'm making real, well, then I'll go there and I'll still adhere to the norms that will help me not infect someone else with the virus if I'm infected, or even if I don't know it, or me getting infected, because you being healthy also contributes to your future, right? So don't cut off your awareness, but also don't buy the fear as real. Don't buy it into, don't make it something that, whether it's with regards to your health, whether it's regards to your money situation, because the money situation, like Sadhna also was just saying, is huge right now. Like all the fear that you are buying into as real, with the money not showing up, with things not going to be. When we say, okay, also look at when you say things are not going to be the same again. Are you saying it from an energy of curiosity and wonder and, hey, I know it's not going to be the same again, so now what else is possible? Or, oh my god, nothing's ever going to be the same again, and it's more like a hopelessness, like, you know um so all the hopelessness of fear and the fear of hopelessness, and everywhere it's controlling you, everywhere you've made yourself a victim to that, rather than the creator of a new reality, which only you can create if you had a different point of view, if you were willing to choose something different, if you were willing to not buy into any of the fear or the doubt or the business or the relationship or any of the other distractor implants as real.
And what if during this time that we've got, we could develop the muscle of asking questions all the time?
Yeah, and everything that is not
It's
allowed,
so
all of that.
easy to go into a conclusion. It's so easy, like Shweta was saying, so easy to buy into
Yeah.
all the stuff that is in the air. But what if at this time, like you were saying, I'm meditating, getting my inner strength. What if this was one of the muscles we could develop during this time? That, okay, what would it take for me to live in question all the time?
Awesome. So anyone else have any other questions? Anything coming up for you with regards to fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, anger, rage, fury, hate, and just a so maybe we can get to that and clear it for you. Anything coming up for you? Anything that we haven't spoken about that you would like to discuss, that you'd like to bring up so we can clear it? And in the meantime, I can run a clearing. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equal to MC square to
Unmute
create?
yourself. Amol,
So I have a question.
Okay, let me just run this clearing, please. I was like in the middle.
Okay.
So maybe.
Okay. I was trying to unmute it and then yeah.
No worries, no worries. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equal to MC square to create fear, doubt, lack as a continuous PTSD stimulant and a problem rather than a source of possibilities are you choosing? Everything that will be destroying it all. Right on good bad, what for conventions, boys and beyond. Rain, do you have the book handy by the way?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
page 160, there's another clearing which we can run right after um Suchika asks the question. Go ahead, Suchika.
So so we get to hear of all the symptoms, all the issues, all the medication. So from a very medical perspective, I get to hear things that are happening with patients on a daily basis from my friends and colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for me, that is really, really real. Um,
Yeah.
when and it's really difficult to and I keep doing interesting point of view, I have that point of view, but it's really difficult, when you're told that X, Y, and Z, this person had this is how the kidney failed, and this is what the symptom was, and this is what happened, and this was the cytokine, so the very medical thing. So it's very difficult for me to completely ignore um, or ignore at all, and it does put me. So by and large, I fear is not an issue for me right now. But when one or the other case really strikes me, and then I go down that, and what really worries, not worries. So Amol and I were talking about it to ourselves, and what struck me was that the physical dis-ease, the physical um, lack of ease, the physical suffering that the disease is causing is what made me fearful.
So what would you like to be different there? What would you like to change about that?
Let the virus come, but let not anybody suffer.
Yeah. So honor that. Everywhere, like you're not allowing people to suffer. Like, okay, so this might sound very crude and it might sound as if it's, oh my God, she's talking so mean. How would you want to let people suffer? But well, you have to see that a lot of people choose to suffer. A lot of people choose to have unhappiness and suffering in their lives. Like you see beggars on the road. Have you seen how they live their lives? Have you seen their suffering? Have you seen how some animals suffer, but we continue to think that it's our job to save them. It's like I do it with animals, I know, and it's something that I still struggle to get rid of, but it bothers me. It's like if I see a hungry dog on the road, I have to go back home. Even if I'm out walking, I'll have to go back home, get him some food, give it to him, and I'm like, oh my God, what if I didn't have to buy into the shit jail? What if I could pock and pot everywhere that I've given myself the job of being a savior, because it's not light in my universe? Is it really giving me the freedom to look at, hey, is this guy, does it give you the space to ask a question of, hey, is this guy really choosing this? Yes or no? Okay, no, cool. Then what is this? What can I do with this? Can I contribute to this? Can I change this? And if it's a yes, then you do what you can. But if you really can't, then are you not limiting yourself? The moment you've gone into that frenzy of worry, that frenzy of making something real, the frenzy of, hey, these people should not suffer, then you've already taken yourself out of creation. Where if you could have created something, you being a doctor, if you could have created something that's like a, an antidote to whatever's going on, you've already taken yourself out of creation because you're busy worrying about these people not suffering. That's just one example of how we distract ourselves from creation.
So beautiful, yeah. Thank you,
So it's
Shweta.
not about them suffering that I'm worried about.
Okay.
It's um, it's the feeling. It's the real feeling
Mhm.
of that pain and suffering that I can feel in my own body.
Ah, so you are another level of, are you an empath? Truth.
Yes, truth. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you know what an empath
That's
is?
why you're taking it in your body.
And it's the fear of me actually physically feeling that if I were to be exposed to the virus. It's that fear.
Fear that you will have it.
But you don't
Yeah.
have to fear it. You're already doing it. You're already suffering it. So what are you scared of?
I guess it's like, I'm sort of walking through every system in my body and seeing where it could affect and how would one feel and how constricting it could be, how one could feel breathless with it, and how one could feel pain with it.
Yeah. So it's a distractor implant, Suchika. And you
Okay.
got to start poking and podding it really, because if it's working for you, you're doing great. How many people's sufferings are you taking on in your body? And is that really changing anything for them or for the planet or for you? If it's working for you, then you can continue to do it. There's no right or wrong about it. But if it's
Okay.
not working for you, if it's putting you in a state of no creation, are you creating anything when you're doing that?
No.
You are creating more dis-ease for your own body. You're always
Okay.
creating.
I
But
wonder if that's going to help the other person as well, whoever you are aware of. So, like Shweta just said, what if you could ask that, okay, what do I require to do here? It could be just an awareness. But that doesn't
Okay.
mean that you have to do something every time you become aware of someone else's suffering.
Okay.
do you know what an empath is? I think
No.
you guys know what an empath is.
I just see the dictionary using.
Yeah. Empath is
But
somebody.
you eat.
You know the thing that we're told about sympathy and empathy. Like I remember, I was schooled in a convent, and empathy used to be something that was better than sympathy,
Mm.
and you had to be empathic because all the course content used to be about the moral science lessons and the English classes used to be about, hey, if you're an empath, I don't even remember where I heard it, but if you're an empath, you're literally stepping into that person's shoes and feeling what that person is feeling. However, if you're just sympathizing, you're like, okay, I'll help you, and all of that. But if you look at the foundation manual, sympathy, empathy, there are another couple of things.
Can I read out the dictionary meaning? This sounds a little not what you were just saying. So, one who has the ability to sense emotions,
Mhm.
someone who is empathetic or practices empathy. So, a person with extrasensory empathetic ability capable of sensing the emotions of others around them, and emotions are never your own, even their emotions are not their own.
Okay.
You are sensing someone else's emotions that are probably not theirs also. Please return to sender every time you sense that, because like Shweta is saying, it's something that you ask whether this is, if my taking it into my body is going to be a contribution or not, and contribution to you as well as to the other person.
Okay.
Right. But also ask, what is the gift here that I'm not willing to see? Because it is a gift. But if you're using it to create not ease or dis-ease for your body, and like I was saying, that the foundation manual says that sympathy, empathy, altruism, and compassion, and there's another one, they are all superior points of views. However, we're not doing it from superior point of view, but if you look at it, you're just trying to make yourself better than someone else in a way that, hey, I'll take it away from you, you know. So
Okay.
where did you buy into that as your job, as something that you have to do lifetime over lifetime over lifetime? And how many lifetimes have you done it? Truth. 700,000 or million. Right? Is now the time to give it up and use it to create greater. Yes, so it's like give up healing people who are not willing to receive it, because
Okay.
they are going to create it again. If they're fond of suffering, they like it. However much you think, why would anybody like suffering? Well, people do like suffering. I'm sure you guys have seen people in your life who you keep trying to make happy, you keep trying, but they never get happy. Have you guys have at least one of those people in your life?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Everybody has, I'm sure.
So it's similar, it just exponentialize that concept to the extent that you're trying to take this ease away from someone because you are an empath, and that's a gift that you have, right? So you can't really change it. Your body's not going to stop doing it, but you can go, hey, let me just do it for people who are willing to receive it. Would that be a gift? Rather than just taking it away from people, getting scared about it, then buying into that as yours, then just going into that loop of, oh my god, something's happened and something's bad and something's terrible. Like, does that really allow you to create? The moment we started going down that spiral rabbit hole of, um it's not good, it's real, and people are dying, and this and this, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that a lot more people, let's say at least in India right now, who are dying of other diseases or simple road accidents. But we're trying to avoid a catastrophe here. That's why we have the lockdown. It's yet people who have chosen to have it are probably people who don't want to live. And I'm not saying that as it's like a pathar ki lakeer. It could be different things with different people. It could be, it's probably very unfortunate that they're choosing it, but well, what capacities do you have that if you didn't have to buy into any of this as real, that you could use to really gifting to people, the ones that are willing to receive it?
And also, how could you make it work for you,
Yeah.
for your body? How
Okay.
could you use this as a gift for your body and for you? Just keep, I don't know how, but just keep asking a question. Okay, how can this be a contribution to me and my body?
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of in-depth things that come up when we start talking about these things. Like, see, just when we started talking about empath, there's so much stuff that's coming about healing, about having it as a gift, about action, reaction, about like if you were doing it as an action, what would be different rather than reacting to somebody not being well and you're trying to heal them, right? So all of these things, when we actually go deep into reading the book and reading everything that Gary and Dane talk about, there's a lot of stuff that comes up. That's why we do it in a group. So this is actually an invitation for you to please come and join us. Like, if it seems like it's a contribution, going to be a contribution to you, if it's light in your world that we can change the distractant plans together, then please join us uh, on the
We
book.
have the book.
Right?
We don't have the book, I think.
And you can probably get the Kindle version, or even if you don't have it, you
Kindle.
can join in while we read it and talk about all of these things with all the questions coming up. And it's just the choice of choosing to go beyond the distraction plans and not making them real or significant for you or for anyone else, because the moment you've made it significant for you, not only have you limited your capacity to create, you've limited everyone around you who could have seen a different possibility. Everyone you're touching, you influencing, because now you bought into it as real. You talking to three other people, like your friend, the way she was talking to you and telling you about all of that, if she was coming from a space of fear, then she sold it to you, right, knowingly or unknowingly. And then when you talk to three other people about it, it's just that we are spreading that ripple effect of fear. What if we spread the ripple effect of consciousness? What if we talked and potted distraction plants, and the gift that could come out of that could be a greater reality? Like I was saying, if you trusted that you are the gift that is creating that new future, then what would you choose to buy as real and what would you choose to buy as not real? Right? When you're
What
listening to
you
someone,
choose now makes a difference.
sorry?
It's what you choose now in the present moment is going to create the future.
Yeah. So every
Okay.
time you don't go into reaction, every time you choose to ask a question, asking a question is in itself an action step. It is the step to creating a different future. So every time you don't buy somebody's lie as real, like Dane was talking about, these truths with lies attached. So when your friend is talking to you, when you're reading the newspaper, or when you're hearing the news, do you guys stop and ask, hey, how much of this is true? Much of this is not true, because there could be, like recently, Renu and I received a forward about, the vaccine and how they're going to be creating a whole worldwide global vaccination campaign. And I don't know, it was like a lot of stuff, and how earlier they've made HIV vaccines, and how pharmaceutical companies have kind of, so probably this was before US went into a lockdown. But I got it like 3, 4 days back, and so did Rain when we were talking about it. And I went into this thing of, oh my God, this guy is speaking the truth. And then he went on to talk about these different people who are with the US government who are basically just trying to make money off it and selling people lies. And then he went on to add 3, 4 other things, which probably weren't true. But because the first couple of things seemed like something I was resonating with, like, yes, pharmaceutical companies are trying to make money, they're making the big bucks, they're trying to scare people. I bought into all the other lies of what he was saying to. Remember, Renu?
Yeah,
That
and then there was another article that came right after that, which was proving something entirely different because that gentleman himself was standing for the elections next term. You know,
Mm.
so it was like, I'm doing this every morning. There's a very nice group that I am attached to. We are doing something called interplay. So it's connecting your body to your mind and your thoughts and feelings. So there's a very beautiful game in that which we play, and we say, okay, on one side you all can have a go at it. Oh? So if I say on one side, the coronavirus is, sort of attacked the whole world and created a warlike situation, but on the other side, look at the air; it's so fresh. Look at the birds. Look at the sea. They say today, I heard that the water of Ganga is actually pure enough to drink now.
really?
So that's what they said. Now
Wow.
again, on one side is something else, and the other side it could be something else. So it's like, you got to see both the pictures, and then like Shweta was just saying, okay, what is it lie here that I'm not willing to look at, or what is it lie here that's being fed to me, you know? And then go with what your awareness is telling you, what is truth for you, because what is truth for you could be a lie for the rest of the world, but it's your truth.
So I'd like to add one thing.
Yeah.
So there's another thing, not a question, but another thought that I have been sort of, let's say, fighting with for a very long time, and I just got an answer to that thought while you were talking about something else. And that thought was that there is a possibility that this virus, at the moment, the virus strain that we have in India is not as virulent, meaning it is not one that is causing severe wala disease like it is in UK and US perhaps.
Yeah.
And one theory is that you get it now and you make your antibodies, and that's good. Then you're
Yeah.
sorted.
Yeah.
Versus if you try and avoid the virus now, and what if it mutates into a more virulent form later, then it wreaks more havoc.
Yeah.
It's like
And this
having
is
chickenpox when you're a child, so
Yeah.
it makes you immune to it. Is that that's what UK was trying? No, they said it's okay, let so many people
That's
die,
the
but at
version.
least the rest of the country.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that is what UK was trying.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, correct. That's what UK was trying. And this is a thought that has been sort of on my mind, and not just mine, I'm sure the entire medical fraternity. What is better? What is better? What do we do? Shall we allow people to get exposed to the virus now? Shall we wait until we know more? Shall we wait until we get the vaccine? What shall we do? So,
Yeah, but the other day, someone was talking about vaccines, and she said she took her dog. She refused to believe in vaccines, and she took her dog, who was not vaccinated, to the vet, where there were other dogs who were vaccinated. But the vet refused to let her get her dog in, saying that your dog is not vaccinated. So she said, if the others are vaccinated, why should we be scared of them
Yeah.
getting the bug or them getting the problem? What are your vaccines creating? They're supposed to create you to be safer from that drug. If you're still worried about the virus attacking you after the vaccine also, then what is the idea? So I mean, it is like I said, on one hand, it's also all the pharmaceutical industries who are actually creating this fear. You know how many vaccines a child has to go through nowadays? You must be knowing.
yeah,
At times there were those 4 months, you must be knowing. So, and how many of you as a doctor do recommend?
all.
Yeah, because and a mother will say, "Oh yes, I'd rather get it done than have the fear of." And actually, maybe out of all that, it's some of them are not required. But because we are parents and because that's how the whole world functions
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
fear. See, even your these insurance companies, how do they get you to take insurances? Oh,
Yeah,
this
if
one
you got
died.
all the tick boxes, they'll insure you, otherwise not.
Yeah. So that is also there. But otherwise, I'm saying, how do they ensure that you go and look at the insurance? Because, okay, tomorrow if I die, what's going to happen to my child? Or what's going to happen to my wife? And they must have this money, you know. And we call Gandhiji the father of our nation, but we don't refuse to believe him. He said the person who gets an insurance done is the biggest foolish on the earth, you know. And the insurance companies are going to make the maximum money. So again, this is what you. It's on one hand is this, and the other hand it's that, you know.
Hmm.
So you have to see what is true for you at that moment.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in the world, so many different points of view, so many different perspectives, and they all might be right
Or wrong.
or wrong.
Go wrong.
Depends on what you choose, you know.
Like, what is true for you?
What if we could choose with allowance? I know it's very tough, but what if we could choose from allowance, you know? That okay, yeah, all right, might work for somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting point of view. You have that point of view, and well, I'm not going to react to it. What is true for me? Or like, I remember when my kid, like, I think we're like almost in 5 minutes and we ending the call, but I remember like my child had something called, I don't even remember what it was called, something in the throat, and she was just
Adenoids.
adenoids, yes, adenoids, right? And I took her to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician says, oh, we have to surgically remove them. I'm like, what crap are you talking? And everybody went ballistic. My husband was like, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about like medical things, because my husband's a doctor and he usually looks after the vaccinations and stuff. But I knew this is not happening. This is not, and she doesn't have a problem. She's fine. Like, I mean, it just went away on its own. But the doctor was pretty sure there is no cure to it. You have to get it surgically removed. I was like, I mean, I'm not getting my kid operated because she has a little inflammation of the throat. Excuse me. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That even if you don't know medically, like Suchika herself is a pediatric surgeon. I hope I'm correct about that. Did I miss out on? Am
No, no,
I
yes,
correct?
yes.
Probably you're better qualified than what I just said.
No, no,
But
no, no.
like, how much do you know about stuff? How much are you willing to trust your knowing? Even if the reality says that you're not qualified for it, what is qualification anyway? I'm like a mother. I'm qualified enough to know that my child doesn't need the surgery, right? So how much are you willing to trust yourself, guys, that you start to look at, hey, what is true for me here? What where am I? And this is a great question by Gary, which is like I've been hearing this call over and over again. And it's like, hey, how smart are you that you're not willing to believe that you are? And then the smartness actually leads you to the intelligence and awareness of trusting what you know. But if you already think that you're not smart enough, if you already bought into the lie that you don't know, then when are you going to ask the question? How would you know what is true for you or not? So the whole thing about these distraction plants is that it's designed to make you believe that you're a piece of shit, that you don't know. But how much of that is true? Like even like a teeny bit true? No, you wouldn't have been here listening to this conversation if any of that was true. So everywhere that you believe that you're not smart enough to know what is true for you, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right on with that, what online shows boys and beyonds. And Aradhana had just sent me a private message where she says that if, when I step out, I'm not scared for me, but I'm scared that if I get the virus, what's going to happen to my family members? That's another way of doing empathy. Okay, hey, I care more for my family people. Why wouldn't you care more about yourself? Why wouldn't you care more for, hey, if I'm infected, I might infect people outside, so it might create a pandemic, and there you wear a mask or you take the precautions. But it's more about you being worried about other people than yourself, which is also an implant. Hey, you have to worry about others. Empathy, could that be an implant too? It's probably underneath all of those implants of what the six different distractor implants are. But these are part of those these are subtleties of those distractor implants. The sadness,
Also
you
because I
know.
love them, and love is the biggest distraction.
Yeah, love, sex, jealousy, peace. Business, like who would think business is a distraction plan? But if you've gone into already the thing of, see, fear and business are, that's why very closely tied, because it's fear, doubt, business, and relationship, right?
Relationship.
So you are relationship. I need to care more about these people, so I'm scared for them. See how intrinsically they're tied. Business. Oh my God, I'm scared. My business is going down tomorrow. I might not have the money. Do you have money today? Do you have enough in your bank? Do you have enough in your almirah? Are you grateful for it? Right? So we don't go to question because it is designed. You really don't have control over it. You got to pock and pot it. Hey, all the distraction plans here, pock and pot, pock and pot, pock and pot, which is the access consciousness clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online, truth, voice, and beyond. So just pock and pot them. Right. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm so grateful that we had this conversation today. It's just like probably we just scratched the tip of the iceberg.
Iceberg, yeah.
If we have, do you scratch the tip of an iceberg or do you just touch the tip? What do you do with the tip of an iceberg? Like, it's just the tip of an iceberg. What do you scratch then? Scratch the surface, okay? Like, I just put two things together. How cool am I? Like, you're going and scratching the tip of the iceberg.
You can do that also.
I know. I'm like Renu. I was asking Renu, and she's more the English person. So it's like, okay, I put my two and two together. I'll go and scratch the tip of the iceberg. That's fine.
Yeah, everybody's iceberg is different, you see.
Yeah.
And what you do with yours is something I might not do with mine.
Thank you. That sounds fun. I'll scratch the tip. So yeah, but there's like a huge iceberg underneath, which is the distraction plans. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying that, hey, whether or not you come, whether you not read the book, whether you not come join us, but please start popping and putting the distraction plans. Please start looking at where you're the gift, where you're not acknowledging it. Hey, where am I smarter than I think I am? Hey, what do I know? And you get to that. You get to the layers underneath when you start to pop and pot everything, all the distraction plans on top of it. Like how boobs are big because there's an implant up there. So they look big, but underneath is probably the nice ones, the original ones, which are probably yours. So what's
But
your
yeah,
awareness, which is
okay,
underneath
let's
those
not go
implant-
there. I was just going to say
Yeah.
something.
Why? Sex is a distraction plant too, Renu. Did you forget that? So
Yeah, so everything that you desire to have in your life, sex, relationships, money, joy, the distraction plans are designed to keep you away from that.
yeah.
So whatever you are desiring in your life, if there is a distraction plant over there, it's not going to come to you.
You
So
can't
what would it take for us to be aware of, okay, what am I functioning from here? Is it a distraction plan? So then destroy it, pock and pot it. And what is this person who's so closely attached to me but is functioning from a distraction plan? Destroy and uncreate his distract or her distraction plans too. Yeah, so nice having you guys. I think we've crossed the time.
Yeah, we just touched
Thank
time
you.
actually, so we
You.
are just about at an hour, at the tip of an hour now. Is that how you say it, or you say it something? At the top of an hour, not the tip and the top of an hour.
Maybe.
Oh my God, you guys are gonna have fun with my nice English, by the way. Okay, cool.
Could
So,
we could do a 13 to change tracks.
yeah, we could. Would you like to do that?
Let's do that for
And
all the
just want to
business
give
and all
you
the
the
money and
information.
all the impacts. Let's just change tracks there.
Sure. I would just like to give everyone here the information to. So we start the Distraction Plan book read on the 14th, which is a Monday. Is that correct? It's a Monday. No, it's a
No,
Tuesday.
no, Monday's tomorrow, 13th.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, on Tuesday. And yeah, so I put in the information of the chat group. We're going to be reading it thrice a week, this time in the night. And you can also choose each set separately. Like you can choose the whole 12 12 calls as the whole book read, or you can also choose each distracting plan, like the 6 sets. So you can choose 2 calls per set, which is going to be like, okay, what's the first one? Anger, Rage, Fury, Hate would have 2 calls, Fear, Doubt, and whatever. Like each set has 2 calls
Each
each.
set,
So,
there's 6 sets, so each set
yeah,
will have 2 calls.
yeah. So, and the last day to join it is tomorrow evening, please. So if you're signing up, please sign up for it by tomorrow evening. And now we can do a 13 to change tracks for everything that is going on in your world that you think is not the way you think it would be, but what if you started to ask, hey, with everything that I think is not the way it should be, if I did not go into a distraction plant here, what would I be aware of? And what am I aware of as a greater future now, way more now than ever before, and get the energy of that? What are you aware of? So just close your eyes for a moment and get the energy of, if you were not buying into this as real, if you were not buying into any of the structure implants, the fear, the doubt, the lack, the sadness, the victimization, whatever it is that's bothering you, that's upsetting you right now, if you knew that there was a greater reality possible, what are you aware of as a greater future? And get a sense of that. And expand out, expand out, expand out, expand out. Become bigger than the earth, get the universe, and even further than that. And now, from that space, what are you aware of as a greater future? Let's ask our life, our reality, our businesses, our bodies, our money situation to change tracks at the count of 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and a 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 13, and 13, and 13, and 13. And at the count of three, let's track all. This is another thing that Dain recommends a lot, is like at the count of three, do this every day, guys. All the insanity that you're aware of with the coronavirus, with whatever is going on in the world, at the count of three, track all the insanity related to the coronavirus, related to the pandemic, related to whatever it is that is upsetting you. So, are you willing to track the insanity with all of this, including the coronavirus, at the count of three? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And one more time, all of that space, get back to the space that you were when you're asking things to change tracks. And at the count of 13, let's ask everything in our lives, our business, our relationships, our money situations, our bodies to change tracks. 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. 13, and a 13, and a 13, and 13, and 13, and 13, and 13, and 13, and 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 30.
30. Yes,
Yay! Did
nice.
I shift that energy that we were
Brighten
going
up the
into?
world a little.
Sorry?
I said that just brightened up the world
It
a little, but
did
it's
for
what we
me too.
need.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of that. And I wonder what we can change when we're together with all of these energies of creation. So, what can we create rather than, hey, something's not moving? Talking about all that and do the 1, 2, 3s, frack insanities. And we're looking forward to seeing you. So, have a lovely time, create, and be the gift that you are. Thank you, Renu. And thank you, guys.
Yes,
Everyone
thank
here.
you.
Thank
Bye.
It was
you.
fun.
Bye bye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
How do you close?
Yes.